my personal yoga practice, the one I do when I'm at home, when I want to have a comfortable practice that meets all of my needs. So sometimes I change it, sometimes it's really boring and rote, but I wanted to share it with you today. A couple of things before we get started. First of all, you're practicing yoga in the body that came with you today. You might be buzzing with anticipatory energy, or you might be exhausted, and showing up to your mat is the hardest thing you've done all day, but you did it. Please honor the energy that you brought with you, and don't judge or criticize anything that comes up in your practice. Sitting here and breathing is yoga, so if that's all you were able to do today, you are doing it. All right, we'll start in a comfortable seated position on your mat. I'm in what we call easy pose, our comfortable cross-legged position. But you can make any adjustments that work best for your body, legs extended, hips elevated, whatever. We will create some space to breathe. So that might mean sitting up just a little bit taller, lengthening through the spine. Maybe giving those shoulders a nice roll up, back, down. If you need to feel a little safer and more grounded today, you can have those palms down on your knees. If you're feeling open to opportunity, maybe those palms are up and open. We'll soften the gaze or close the eyes, relaxing the jaw, and start to draw that breath in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. Take a few more deep breaths right here. This is it, this is yoga. Like I said before, if we stayed here and just breathed, it would be a full yoga practice. If you're ready to add a little bit more, we'll move on. Go ahead and inhale, drop your chin to your chest. And exhale your right ear over your right shoulder. It might feel good to stretch that opposite arm out. And maybe pull your chin towards your shoulder. We'll inhale back to center and move to the other side. Add on any of those variations that resonate in your body today. That arm is a counterweight, your chin towards your shoulder. Go ahead and come back to center and reach those arms up to the sky. Take one hand down, stretch the opposite arm up and over, keeping that hip planted, thinking more about the extension through that lifted side body than how far down you can fold. If it feels good, you can look up, otherwise forward or down is fine. Inhale up, and exhale to the other side. Gaze where it feels good. We'll come back up to center, and here we're going to twist. So take this hand to this knee, adjusting any luxury goods as you need, and we'll windmill the opposite arm up and around and back, keeping the heart lifted, so we're not leaning back like a supermodel. We'll inhale back to center and exhale to the other side, twisting through the spine, noticing where you feel sensation. can just fold forward, thinking about lengthening the low back. And you might stay lifted, or you might walk the arms out, relaxing the spine. And we'll inhale back up. From here, we'll come to all fours for down dog. So swing those legs around, knees under hips, or center shoulders. Your toes could be tucked, or the tops of your feet could be down, whatever's comfortable. Gently pushing them out away from you. From here, we're going to drop the belly, tilt the tailbone, and gaze up for cat. And then pull that tailbone under, round the spine, chin to chest. That's cat. The other one was cow. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And we'll do it a few more times, really exaggerating the movement. And you can also add any intuitive movement that feels good in your body. Hip circles, side bends, whatever feels right in your spine and your hips. And then we'll make our way to our child's pose. Your knees could be together or wide apart to the edges of your mat. We'll take those big toes together, hips to heels. Walk the arms long. Relax the forehead down to the mat or the block. And breathe. So child's pose looks easy and restorative, and it is. But it's also a really deep hip stretch. And if you need, you can make adjustments to find support for you. First of all, if you want to amp it up and keep those arms active, you might come to pyramid fingers. Feel that stretch under the bottom of your arms. You could also stretch deeply into the arms by taking the palms together and hands overhead. And you'll feel that in the upper arms, shoulders, and back. If you need a little more support here, first of all, feel free to tuck the toes. That's totally fine. You can have a blanket under your knees or over your heels. And you could also take the bolster between your hips and your feet. All right, we'll inhale back to all fours. Press into the mat, grip the mat, tuck the toes, lift the knees to a hover. And here we're just tuning into our core power. We'll shift the hips to the sky, belly toward thighs, and walk out that dog, bending one knee at a time. Feel free to play with the distance between your hands and your feet. And I don't care how wide your feet are apart, but do try to maybe have your toes in front of your heels. Gaze forward, walk or hop to your standing forward fold. And we'll hang out here for just a little bit. If you like, you can grab opposite elbows and sway side to side. Ragdoll. Go ahead and relax those arms. And from here, we're gonna roll up to a stand. Knees on top of ankles. Hips on top of knees. Shoulders on top of hips. Belly button towards spine. Collarbones lifted. Crown up. Thumbs relaxed. Breathe. From our mountain pose, we'll move into our sun salutation A, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive, leading with the chest and the chin. We'll inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold back down, hands to the floor, hop or step back to plank or modified plank. Core is engaged, Gently push a little bit forward on the toes. Elbows point back, come to a hover. Push forward and through. Up dog, or you might do Sphinx or Cobra. And make your way back to down dog. Gaze forward, walk or hop, standing forward fold. Strong core, inhale up. Inhale, hands to heart. Sun salutation B, inhale up. Exhale, chair. Note that we're not going to have a deep arch in the back. If that's the case, we're going to lift up a little higher through the legs. And then firm through both feet, settle those hips back and down. And arms can be where you feel stable, energetic, and strong. For a little power, you may come up on your tippy toes. Hands to heart. Dive to your standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We'll step right foot back. And we're going to drop that right heel to about 45 degrees. Inhale, lift those arms up. Hips and shoulders facing the front of the room, front of the mat. Warrior one. Have your body weight in the outside of the back foot. Go down as low as you want, as high as you need. Exhale, frame the foot, step back to plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. This time, right foot forward. Drop your back heel. Inhale up, warrior one, other side. Exhale, frame the foot with your hands, step to your standing forward fold. Hips nice and low. Inhale, arms up, chair. Hands to your heart, drive to the sky. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, for our standing balance, we'll do tree. You can stay where you're at, facing that direction. We'll start in our mountain pose. Toes in front of heels. Find your breath. We'll engage the core, belly button to spine. Sides in, heart lifted. Hands anywhere near the midline. We're going to pick a focal point. You're going to find something to look at that isn't human, doesn't move. Keep your gaze fixed there. We'll shift the weight to your left foot and draw your right toes up. Kickstand, calf, or maybe your inner thigh. Whatever you pick, we're going to make sure that standing leg is pressing just as firmly into the lifted foot as the foot is into the leg. You can stay right here, or you can grow some branches. Notice those little shifts of balance in the foot. We're going to try to lift the weight up and out of the hips, and maybe open that right hip. When you're ready, release. All the way down. Shake that ankle out. It's a lot of work on those low calf muscles. Other side. Hands to midline. Cores engaged. Focal point. Shift your weight to your other foot. And draw those toes up wherever you want to work. Hips open. Heart lifts. And if and when you're ready, find some branches. And trees do not care if their branches are symmetrical. They grow toward the sky, toward the sun. You can use your arms to balance, or to express yourself, or to challenge yourself. ahead and move into a standing sequence. So we're going to start facing the front of the mat, using that sun salutation to flow us through until we can get into a warrior shape. So inhale up, exhale dive, inhale halfway lift, exhale fold. Step that left foot back. We're going to drop that left heel and windmill up, warrior two. Hips and shoulders stacked, arms in opposite direction. Front knees open so you can see your big toe. Half your body weight in each foot, press into the outside of the back foot. You can go down as low as you want, but we're not going to stretch forward yet. Gaze out over those right fingers and breathe. We're going to straighten the front leg. Feel free to adjust your feet. Hinge forward, and then fold down. This is a great time to use your block, but you can clasp your ankle or ground for the floor. This is triangle pose. We're pulling right heel toward left heel. Left arm straight up at the sky. You could look up. And we're gonna make sure we're not dumping our body weight into that right shoulder. So keep those big, strong leg muscles engaged with the bone and keep the core engaged. If you find that you're closing your shoulder, you might find it helpful to flip that back palm or top palm backwards and bend the elbow, finding a half bind, reaching in the direction of your right hip crease. Inhale up. Strong core, soften through that front knee lift, warrior two. Then we're gonna scoop that left arm down through forward, adjust the feet, draw it to maybe a 45-degree angle, warrior one. And if you're like, oh, my arms are in line with my ears, it's okay. I want you to think of the energy of the effort more than perfection in anesthetic shape. We're gonna move to pyramid. So straighten-ish your front leg, hinge at the hips. You can hang out here for some core work, or you might draw your hands down to your blocks or your mat. Pulling right sit bone toward left heel, and then allow your back to come to its natural relaxed shape. Moving to warrior three modified, and then into our half moon. We're gonna come onto the back toes, bend through the front knee. Take those hands forward and out, and drive off that back foot. Might take a step or two. We're gonna try to draw a straight line from shoulders to heel. We'll try not to pop that hip up, and we're gonna keep those hip square, toes pointed down. Here you could add your arms as levers. Note that your knee can bend. And then right hand down to the mat of the block. This time we will stack that left hip on top. And reach that left arm to the sky. Half moon. Flex that left foot. You could look down, forward, or up. And we'll step to standing forward fold. We're gonna do those same shapes on the other side. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Right foot back. Drop the heel. Warrior two. Left knee's open so you can see your big toe, shoulders right over hips. Have your body weight in the outside of your right foot and gaze over left fingertips. Triangle pose will straighten-ish front leg. Hinge forward and down. open toward right heel. Looking down, forward or up. And breathe. Again, if it's hard to keep that top shoulder lifted, you might flip the palm, bend the elbow. Find that half bind variation. Inhale, unwind. Strong through that front leg. Warrior two, adjust your feet as needed. And warrior one. Hips and shoulders facing the front of the mat. Core engaged. Gaze might be between the palms or straight forward. We'll straighten the front leg, hinge at the hips. And find your pyramid on the left side. Lifted or relaxed. No hyperflexion here. We're going to keep a little bend in that knee. All right, bend through the front knee, come on your back toes. Find a stance for your modified warrior three. Drive off that leg. Hips squared, a right toe pointed down, foot flexed. Left knee soft. You might stay right here. Or find a variation that works for you today. Moving on to our half moon. Left hand down to the mat of the block. Stack that right hip on the left. Right arm up to the sky. Gaze where you feel stable. By the way, it's okay to not feel stable. We'll unwind, standing forward fold. From here, we're going to heel to those feet wider than the hips. And then we're going to lower those hips down nice and low between the heels. This pose is insane, right? Garland pose. It's a low yogi squat. I'll come to face you in a second. But first I want you to know, if your heels don't touch the floor, it's okay. It might not just be flexibility. It might also just be anatomical. It might feel good to elevate those heels on a stacked blanket. And if it's tough to get down into this low squat, you have options. First, you can make a seat for yourself with 1 or 2 blocks. If that's still a lot in the knees or the hips, you can also just come down into a low squat and that's fine. You might even feel better with your hips above your knees if you have any knee issues. So garland pose. I'll come to face you now. So from our garland pose, we're going to lengthen the low back, tailbone pointing down. And then gently fold forward, belly between the thighs. You might take your right forearm under your right shin, and then wrap the left arm to the sky. Looking up at that top thumb. Some people like to grab a bind here. Feel free to play with that idea. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the other side. It's fine to adjust your body to get into a shape. Move, adjust, create space, take up space. We'll come back down, slowly lift the hips. And you might just bend the knees, sway side to side. Organic movement is fine. We're going to make our way to a sit. You can do that any color you want to sway. It might feel good to step back to plank. Drop the knees, and then spin those legs around. From here, see the forward fold. So legs extended, shoulders over hips, arms up, hinging at the hips, lengthening through the spine, folding over thighs. Take some deep breaths. We'll inhale, lift up, and move to our wide-legged seated forward fold. Wide-legged is anything wider than together, whether that's here, here, or a full straddle split. You can also feel free to use your tools for your wide-legged seated forward fold. If you can't pancake down, you're in good company. Lots of options here. You might take head to blocks in a little tower. You might take head to bolster. Or my favorite right now is a nice little bridge with my blocks and my bolsters. All right, heart lifted. Hinge at the hips, heart pulls forward. Find a comfortable, sustainable hold. And relax. Find some ease. There's no moral judgment tied to how low you can go in a stretch. This experience is unique to your body on this day in this season. So if you're seated upright and leaning forward and all is intense, that's okay. And if you are soft and all the way down and melty, that's okay. One note, know that while stretch and growth is good, burning, pain, fire stinging is not what yoga is asking of you. So if you feel discomfort, back out of the stretch, and you might find that you can adjust your body to find more comfort and deepen back in, or you might find that you need to stay up, and that's okay. You might find that you prefer a different pose altogether. All right, we're gonna lift back up. And we're gonna do side stretches just a little bit. So I'm gonna have my blocks ready outside my leg. We're gonna start lifted up, arms up, back to that seated wide-legged forward fold, but hands down. We're not gonna go all the way down. We're gonna stay about halfway up. And then keeping both sit bones down, we're gonna walk the torso out over one leg, keeping the opposite hip down. If you need to draw your legs closer together to do this, do it. So, opposite hip lifted, we're gonna fold belly over thigh out to one side. Inhale, lift back up. About halfway, maybe taking blocks with you if you're using them. Walk over to the other leg. Opposite hip stays anchored, heart stays lifted. Hinge forward and fold down. I can reach my T on this side. Back to center. Support the legs as you move up and in. We're going to take the soles of the feet together down to ankle. So in bound angle, the distance between your hips and heels is up to you. Find what feels comfortable in your body. Your knees also don't have anything to do with it. Groin and hips is what we're really working on. So your knees are up, and that's strenuous. You can create some support. I like the blocks. I I take the flat part of the block to the thigh rather than the sharp edge. We'll let the floor take the sharp edge because it doesn't have pain sensors. All right, thighs supported. Or maybe you don't need that, that's fine too. Heart lifted. You can actively press the feet together. And then you might stay up and just go a little bit forward, or you might soften down and forward. You find what works for you. And even when we hold a pose for a long time, know that you are not captive. You have agency. Adjust, change, experience. We'll lift back up. Feet flat to the floor, knees bent. We're going to do a little supported boat. If you have full boat in practice, feel free to go right there. I'm going to do a supported variation. So, feet flat to the floor. You choose how far your feet are away from your body. And I want that to probably be based on how the effort feels in your hip flexors. They're really strong. They're going to want to take over the effort, but we're working your core. So find a place where you don't feel like your hip flexors are doing the work. We're going to balance behind the sit bones. Pull the belly button toward the spine, relax the glutes. And here's where we start to go into our boat. Maybe lower the torso. Maybe lift the legs. Maybe extend the legs and or the arms. You find what works for you. And we'll breathe. I love boat because it never gets easier. You can do yoga for 13 years and it's never going to be easy. If it is, you can just add a little more intensity. All right, drop those feet. We're going to lower down onto our backs. And here we'll do some gentle windshield wipers with the legs. So we're just going to let those knees sway side to side. And you might have your feet hip distance apart or wider, whatever feels good, and your hips in a little back. From here, we'll find knees to chest. Wrap the arms around the legs. If it feels better, you could do under the thighs or hands to the knees. And rock side to side or back and forth or around in a ball. We're going to take arms out to a T. Legs straight up over hips. Gaze over your left fingers. And with either the legs straight or knees bent, we're going to let those legs come over to your right, keeping both shoulders down to where you feel comfortable. And soften into that spine twist. Just take a few breaths here. Strong core draws us back up to center. Gaze to your right. Drop your legs to your left. Roll shoulders down. And inhale back up. All right, we're going to drop feet flat to the floor and we'll do a reclined pigeon variation. So we're going to take a right ankle to left knee. Let that knee fall open, flex the foot, and then pull the left thigh up and in, wrapping the hands behind the thigh, pulling thigh toward chest. This is a reclined variation of pigeon pose. So if you're ever doing a yoga practice and prone pigeon is a little too intense for that day, you can always flip around on your back and come right here. Go ahead and release. Swap it out to the other side. Left ankle to right knee, open, foot's flexed. Draw that thigh in toward your belly. So here, in addition to glutes, hamstrings, low back, we're also getting into the IT band on the outside of the bent knee leg. And it does a lot of work keeping you upright, so stretching it out's the least we can do. And gently release. All right, 2 more poses. We're going to move to Happy Baby. And if you're familiar with Happy Baby, you're probably familiar with feet up, elbows to the insides of the knees, hands to the outsides of the feet, and maybe rocking side to side. And this is fantastic. But it might also feel good to play in a couple different ways. You might do peace fingers around big toes and play with extending one or both legs as you move. Or to get a nice deep hip stretch, our reclined child's pose, heels toward hips, knees wide open, hands heavy on the ankles, pulling those heels toward the glutes. And again, stillness or rocking side to side. Now we'll move into our final relaxation, and you are always welcome to take any shape that feels best for you. I'll cue into corpse. All right, we're gonna extend those legs out long. If that really gets your low back, you can keep your knees bent and or slide a bolster under your knees. With or without the bolster, we're going to take the heels wider than the hips, toes open, arms down by the sides. And you might tuck one shoulder blade under and then the other to lift the heart. And from there, melt the spine and the weight of the head down. Your palms could be down or up. Again, grounded or open. And here, we'll start to allow ourselves to be heavy. Let the earth hold you. We'll relax the scalp, the forehead, the cheekbones, and the jaw. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. And start to focus on that smooth, deep inhale. Complete release on the exhale. I encourage you to pause and stay here as long as you need. But you're also welcome to move on. You might do that by subtly moving any part of your body that makes sense. Fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. If it feels good, you could stretch the arms long overhead, full body stretch, fingertips to tip-tips. Knees bent, feet flat to the floor. And then we'll just roll over on one side, taking a second for integration to notice how you feel, mind, body, spirit. When you're ready, keeping your eyes closed, you can use your arms to push up to a comfortable seated position on your mat. We'll raise those arms to the sky. Draw those palms together and down through your heart. 3 last breaths right